Hello and welcome to the Motilal Oswal studio. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now with me, Shriyansi Singh and Cheryl D'Souza. And this is the show where we get all of your stock-related queries answered from both a technical as well as a fundamental perspective. But well, first things first, let's take a look at the markets, and really a sea of red is what we have at hand. Definitely deeper cuts coming in as far as broader indices are concerned. Much of this week, that's clearly been the picture, Cheryl.
Absolutely. A very good morning to you, Shriyansi. Not a great picture coming in when you look at our benchmark indices or for the matter of fact broader markets. Yesterday we did face a carnage when you talk of the broader markets. Today as well you are seeing sharper cuts coming in. No doubt the markets have tried to recover from the day's lowest point, but the broader market still down in excess of about a percent or so from the day. It's down about in excess of about a percent or so, and you have the benchmark indices that's down about 0.7% as we speak. Let's take a look at the advanced decline ratio, and there the picture is bleak once again in trade today. 2,176 stocks that are declining against 416 stocks that are gaining in trade today. Take a look at Nifty Bank in tandem with the benchmark indices as well. Let's put the spotlight, talk about the list of gainers and losers in trade today then. Talking about the gainers, you have Apollo Hospitals, top gainer in Nifty today. You have Tata Consumer, SBI Life, Bajaj Finserv, L&T among some of them that are seeing mild bit of gains. While on the flip side, in the losing end of the market, you have BEL, IndusInd Bank, M&M, Reliance as well as Power Grid among the counters that are declining in trade today. Given the fact that you have Reliance Industries that are actually falling in excess of about 2% or so, that's weighing pretty heavy on the markets as we speak. Talking about the sectoral indices, none of them in the positive, with the Realty Index once again taking a sharp knock about 2.3%. You also have the PSU counter that is weak. Also, you add to that list about auto that is also seeing weakness of about 0.8% or so. So yes, once again, not a great setup coming in for the market, Shriyansi, though we are hoping every day that today will be the last day that we'll see the bout of sell-off, but seems like it's continuing.
Well, absolutely seems like it is continuing, and for select few sectors, it is actually gaseous coming in as opposed to deeper cuts at this point. That's the kind of picture that we're seeing emerge. But with that in mind, let's also kickstart the show, start taking all of your stock-related queries. Before we do that, viewers, do remember that you can write to us on the number that is flashing on the top of your screens. Mention your buy price for the stocks that you're already invested in, and for the ones that you hope to be investing in, do remember to mention the time horizon that you then have in mind, so that we can help you better when it comes to your queries. But with that in mind, let's kickstart the show, start taking all of your stock related queries. And today on the show we have Hemen Kapadia, who's a technical associate at DRChoksey Finserv, as well as Shahina Mukadam, who's an independent analyst. First of all, a very good morning to the both of you. Shahina, I'm going to come to you with the first query that we have coming in. And this one is coming in from Deepak Saha, writing to us from Kolkata. He wants to know about 1,000 shares that he's holding on of ICICI Bank, wants to sell ICICI at this point, purchase 1,000 shares of Reliance instead of this one. What do you think about this then?
I believe that in this current volatile market, and especially with the mid caps falling the way they are, it is preferable to stay in the large cap, and especially ICICI Bank. I think in terms of valuation also, it is decently placed. ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank at similar valuations. So I would remain invested in ICICI Bank. I personally also hold ICICI Bank. And in terms of Reliance, there is a lot happening in terms of the potential of Jio being listed next year. Lot of opportunity over there. While, with the overall market, we have seen corrections and we may see some consolidation for some time. But I believe in your portfolio, these are the stocks you should hold.
Right. Very good morning to you, Shahina. Good morning to you as well, Hemen. Thank you so much for joining us in ET Now. And let me take this next query that I have that is coming in from Deepak Saha, who's writing to us from Kolkata and wants to know about 1,000 shares of ICICI Bank that he has in his portfolio. Actually, he wants to sell that one and instead purchase 1,000 shares of Reliance Industries. Did you ask this one by any chance, Shriyansi? No, you did not ask this query.
Well, absolutely. Actually, I did.
You did. Okay, then let me go to the next one instead. Then let me take the next query to you, Hemen. This is 2,400 of NMDC at a price of 61 rupees per share. Tina wants to know whether she should switch this sort of a holding to any defense or finance counter for a better deal. She can hold for the next 12 to 18 months. And if not from defense or from finance, which other sector do you think that she can look at for NMDC if she should go ahead and exit?
Okay. A very good morning to you, Shell. A very good morning to Shriyansi. Thank you for being on the show. NMDC, like most of the PSU stocks, is in a corrective phase. If I were to take a 2-year plus point of view, I do not think there is cause for concern, assuming that is the minimum time frame our investor is looking at. If that is the time frame, then it's a hold. But that does not mean we are going to not see further pain. It has been split for 2-1 in terms of bonus. So hold if there's a 2-year point of view. If there is a slightly shorter term point of view, it's a sell on bounce. And a possible shift is something like a Kotak Mahindra Bank. After 4 years, the stock is technically looking positive and promising in Bajaj Finance. So hold longer term, otherwise these are two options to switch.
And that's the take coming in as far as NMDC then is concerned, and those are the alternatives that you can also keep in mind. But Sharmila, I come right back to you because Nikhil Sharma is also writing to us from Mumbai, writing to us about the 10 shares of Infosys that he's holding on to, and his buy price was about 1900 rupees. What do you make of this one as well?
I think IT should do better. My name is Shahina Mukadam. But I think IT is doing well. Large cap IT, if you saw even TCS, despite the fall in the markets, it's holding on. Infosys also in terms of valuation is pretty attractively placed. So I would believe that it's a hold at current levels.
Apologies for that, Shahina. Let me take this next query then. And this one is coming in from a viewer wants to know about CDSL. We have Sanjeev Saha who's written to us from Lucknow, wants to know about CDSL. Is it the right choice? If yes, at what price should I purchase? Wants a fundamental take on this one. What's your take actually, Shahina, when you talk about CDSL, given the fact that it is the capital market play, and most of these counters did not actually do well in the quarter gone by, barring, I believe, maybe a Motilal's numbers were good, but rest other counters that were related to capital market plays did not perform that well. I'm not sure about CDSL in that case, but what's your take? Last 3 months haven't been good, but this one is a play based on markets right now?
Well, yes, of course it is a play, but at the same time, I believe the long-term fundamentals remain in place. I would be buying if I'm buying it at slightly lower levels. I would prefer, because the overall market is in a corrective mode. I would prefer buying it at closer to maybe 100 rupees lower than current levels. That would be a very good level to enter and hold it for the medium to longer term.
All right, then Hemen, I'll come right back to you because we do have Bharatwaj writing to us from Coimbatore, wants to know about Tata Consumer. In fact, he's holding on to 680 shares. Buy price is 933 rupees. What do you make of this one as well? Because he's thinking of it in terms of the consumption theme as a whole. What do you make of this one?
A lot of relative stress or relative strength coming on Shyamsi. As far as Tata Consumer is concerned, 889 is very strong support. Yeah, I guess it would be a hold. The long-term setup indicates a correction within a bull market. So once again, if the outlook is just from a slightly longer-term point of view, I think it's a hold, not much to worry.
Right. Let me move on then. Let me take this next query then. And I have this one coming in from a viewer that has, okay, Imtiaz, who's writing to us from Kolkata. And he wants a question to be asked to both of you. But I will not come to you, Shahina, only because you've already spoken about Reliance Industries. You've already spoken about CDSL. And those are some of the counters that are there in the list of stocks he wants to ask about. So let me come to you, Hemen. He wants to know whether he should look to buy DLF, CDSL, Reliance, Mazagon Dog, HAL, or for the matter of fact, L&T at current levels. What's your take on this, given the fact that most of these counters have seen really sharp correction along with what the market has done? Do you think now is the time to dive into some of these counters, because they are pretty marquee names in their own fields?
Well, Cheryl, despite being a technical analyst, it's really, really very, very difficult to catch the tops and bottoms. It's almost like mission impossible. So if you're liking the stock fundamentally and it's come off significantly, I think one can start nibbling at least. Let's say you want to buy 100 shares, you can start buying 25, 30. I believe that the market has had a phenomenal run up. Most of the stocks, whether it's L&T that you spoke about or PSU stocks, you spoke about HAL. But yes, DLF from a longer term point of view is a very clear buy for me. But once again, spread your purchases, do it like an SIP. Don't do the whole hog at one go, because yes, even if there's a bounce coming in the market, nothing goes one way. I believe this year is going to be very choppy for equities, at least the first half. So even if there's a bounce, I don't think it's going to sustain. So buy I think all of the stocks that you mentioned, whether it's HAL or DLF or L&T, all are worth buying. I'd say buy 1/4 now and do it in bits and pieces. Don't buy everything together because 2-3 months down the line, I believe things are going to be wobbly again.
I made Hemen feel like Tom Cruise, putting him in a very Mission Impossible sort of a situation to talk about these counters, given the fact that at this point in time, when you look at the markets, you always want to stay away and not catch a falling knife. That's something that I think would be on everyone's mind, isn't it, Hemen? Given the fact that you can't even judge the pace of the market correction.
Absolutely. But frankly speaking, 2 years down the line, I think we'll be having this conversation, Cheryl, and we'll say, yes, it was a good time to buy. Obviously, on the hindsight, it's like this, everybody waits for a sale to buy your favorite stuff. It's only in the stock market when there is a sale, people run away. So, but once again, quality stocks, please start nibbling. Markets have gone up and down. I spent 35 years in the markets. Every sell-off has been followed by some consolidation and a newer high. India is growing. I believe you should start nibbling all of the stocks because all of them are quality stocks.
He's a voice to be trusted given the fact of the experience, and he's seen these cycles in the markets. When there is a bull market cycle, there is a correction within the bull market or the bear market cycle. Coming to you, Shahina, given the fact that I put him in a tough spot, fundamentally, what's your take given the fact that DLF is a marquee name in the realty pack? Mazagon Dog, HAL are great PSU counters when you talk about the defense pack and how they are actually benefiting from this Atmanirbhar Bharat sort of tilt as well. And L&T, I think the name is enough for all of us. So what's your take? Fundamentally, now is the time you can look at them?
Well, yes, in terms of the order, I will start with an L&T. There, I believe we are seeing a bit of consolidation happening, but I think it would be the first one to bounce from here. Then, of course, you have HAL, where the valuations are slightly high, but at the same time, their order book is pretty huge, and they are running at full capacity for quite a few years to come. So, and it is, I would prefer at current times to look at stocks which are more India oriented, rather than be affected by how what sort of tariffs will come and how we compete with versus China, etc. So, HAL also looks pretty interesting. So I have got L&T Infra for the infrastructure sector. I've got HAL for the defense. And you can look at CDSL for the capital market, as I said, at lower levels, because there I think valuations are a bit stretched. So maybe, slightly lower levels. You can start picking on for the longer term. And Mazagon Dock, I think the overall shipping, not right now, maybe a couple of months down the line, you can relook at it. I think there are global headwinds in terms of, the wars that are ongoing and what is going to happen to oil prices, etc., which I think will affect these stocks for some time. So these I would look at after some time.
Alright, then that's Shahina's take as well, coming in as far as hunting for pockets of value is concerned, and not catching a falling knife is really just the problem at hand at this point. Time to take a very quick breather on the show. When we come back, we'll address more of your stock related queries, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related queries. Let's continue taking all of your stock-related queries. Then we have Shahina Mukadam, who's joined us on the fundamentals, while we have Hemen Kapadia on the technicals. Let me continue taking the queries then. This one is coming from Bharatwaj, who's writing to us from Coimbatore. He has about 680 shares of Tata Consumers at an average price of 933 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should buy some more at current market price, can hold on for the next 2 to 5 years or so. Keeping the theme as consumption. What's your take on this, Hemen? Let me come to you and ask you this question instead of taking it to Shahina this time around. But in case you've already added and you've asked on already answered on Tata Consumer, then I'll get Shahina's take on it.
I just spoke about Tata Consumer.
All right. Then Shahina, let me come and take your query. I'll come to you then. What's your take on this one? Because given the fact that Tata Consumer, long-term bet right now, consumption is the way to go. But do you think in that sort of a basket makes sense to add some more of Tata Consumer or look at some other place?
Yeah, you can add more of Tata Consumer at current levels. There is a lot happening in terms. They're doing pretty well in terms of their numbers also. So yes, you can add at current levels. But of course, as Hemen has previously said, start buying it in stages because the overall market looks to be a bit volatile.
So that's a take coming in as far as Tata Consumer is concerned. We've of course analyzed it both from a technical as well as a fundamental perspective. So that's a bonanza coming in for this investor. But the next one that we actually have is coming in on M&M that we have coming in from Ignatius, who's asked us about this stock. 50 shares. Hemen is what he's holding on to, 2,900 thereabout is the kind of buy price that he has, and he wants to know if this is a good idea, at least on a slightly longer term basis. What do you have in mind when it comes to this stock?
Frankly speaking, it's one of the strongest stocks in the market, and not only limited to the auto space, the four-wheeler space. Imagine the stock posts a fresh all-time high just last month and almost the same level this month. Sorry, yeah, a fresh all-time high this month. So phenomenal strength. So it's been a 5-year uptrend and it continues to do so safely and so on. So I think there's nothing to worry. Yes, it's been a bit range bound. So support levels can be used as buy levels. It's a hold. Supports are at 2,900, 2,750, 2,625. Very clear relative strength coming in the stock.
Right. Let me come back to you, Hemen, for the next query, and I'm unsure if you will be able to answer. But this one's come from Devdutt, who wants to know about JSW Infra. About 46,000 shares stock is corrected over the last 1 year. Wants to know what's the short-term to long-term perspective, especially her long-term is end of 2025. What's your take on JSW Infra? How does this one look?
Okay, a small caveat, Cheryl. A little bit of paucity of data, but whatever data we have, low top, low bottoms, intermediate downtrend, don't have enough data to take a longer term view. But yeah, supports 230, 202, resistance 255, 277, 300. I believe there is very strong weekly support at 230. No signs of a reversal. So 230 and 202, two levels one can look to buy. Once again, with the limited data we are in a correction, but the bigger picture doesn't look that bad if I take a truncated long-term point of view.
Statistic coming in as far as JSW Infra then is concerned. The next one that we have, Shahina, is coming in on Bandhan Bank. We have Sonesh also writing to us, wants to know what your outlook then is when it comes to Bandhan Bank for the next 6 months. For the last 6 months, in fact, he's been holding on to this one, and he wants to know your outlook on a 1-year basis. What do you think of this stock then?
I think for the shorter term 1-year period that he's talking about, it looks like it's better to exit from Bandhan Bank. They are continuing to see some problems on their asset quality, especially in the small scale loans that they have given. So I think, and also the regional issues. So I think it's better to be in the large cap banks as of now. You can even look at an SBI bank. I would prefer that. So already we've had other stocks that we mentioned, like Kotak, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank. So you have a number of larger banks, better to be invested in those.
This one is coming from Padmaseva Rao from Bangalore. This one's for you, Hemen. Wants to know about ITC, about 100 shares at a price of 440 rupees per share. What's the future target for this one, at least for a period of 1 year? Where do you see actually ITC headed?
Well, I don't want to burst his bubble, Cheryl, but I see ITC going to 375 first. Why I'm saying this, we've had a beautiful move as far as ITC is concerned. But now we've walked into an intermediate correction. There is negativity on the medium-term charts. And frankly speaking, after quite some time, I'm seeing negativity on the monthly chart. So I believe this year is going to be a washout. I don't want to sound like a prophet of doom, but I'm just reading what the charts are telling me. This year is going to be bad. So if you have a 2-year plus outlook, I think it's in an up move. But yes, we've had a 5-year move, which seems to have taken a big breather for the time being.
All right, then that's a take coming in. As far as ITC is concerned, if you're in it for the long term, then patience is key. Hold on and take a look at this one. But if you're looking at it from a short-term perspective, might not be the best idea to look at this one at this point. But the next one that we actually have is coming in for you, Hemen, because we do have Megan, who's writing to us from Mumbai, wants to know about Varun Beverages. Average price was 570. That's the price that she bought this one at. And from a medium to long-term perspective, she wants to know what your take is here.
Well, firstly, if I were to take the long-term charts, the charts are unequivocally bullish. we have been in an uptrend for the last 8 years or so, and that remains in play. Now we walked into a correction of a greater degree. The stock is range bound. There's distribution going on for the past year or so. So I believe, okay, maybe there's a market doing almost the same thing. So yes, it sounds repetitive. 2 years or more, it's a hold. Anything less, I think it would be a sell on bounce. Ranges between 677 on the upside, 500 on the downside, and it's gone nowhere. So it's taking a time price correction, which frankly speaking is needed, and is going to take at least maybe the rest of the calendar year to play out. I'm saying it's going to go down one way, but it doesn't look like making a new high.
Right, this one is actually coming in from Sanjeev Sinha from Lucknow, and this one is for you, Shahina. Very difficult, I believe the question would be, because wants to know fundamentally a very good pharma share that he can look to buy, but which is currently trading at a 40 to 50% discounted price.
Well, it's better not to look at very major discounted prices. At the same time, if that is what he's looking at, I think Arvindo is a good pick. They are doing pretty well in terms of their growth. At the same time, they're launching new products. So I think in very discounted stock, that could be one dark horse. But I think otherwise, you could also look at Dr. Reddy's, which is not discounted like Arvindo, but at the same time, it has quite a bit going on for it in terms of new product launches. You could also look at Cipla that has good products that they have in the inhaler space, which could be launched in the US soon. So I think these could be some of the stocks you could have in your portfolio in terms of pharma.
And those are Shahina's top bets when it comes to this particular space, that is pharma. But time for a very quick breather on the show. When we come back, we'll continue taking all of your stock related queries, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Well, let's continue taking all of your stock related queries, and the next one that we have is coming in on Swiggy. Hemen, I'll come to you with this one because we do have Manoj writing to us about the 80 shares that he's holding on to, and his buy price is about 470 rupees. What do you make of this one then?
Shanti, Swiggy is a very new listing. This is the third month of its listing, fourth month, sorry. So once again, very too much, hardly any data, but whatever data we have, lower top, lower bottoms, we remain in an intermediate downtrend. We posted a fresh all-time low, slightly oversold, but the setup does not inspire too much of confidence at the moment, honestly.
Right, Swiggy being a very recently listed counter, let me come to you, Shahina, get your view coming in on Swiggy, given the fact that you have now Swiggy versus Zomato, and that sort of a competition you can see play out even on the stock market. When Zomato's numbers came, you saw that sort of an impact on the Swiggy stock prices as well. Swiggy's numbers, if you look at it, were not that enthusing it's by itself. What's your take now? If you have to take this bet, will it be Swiggy or will it be Zomato?
Of the two, I would prefer Zomato. Swiggy, of course, has made losses, as we saw. And, the results were pretty disappointing. While they are talking of, improving in terms of across business verticals. But I would prefer Zomato. It has a better name recall. And I believe it is also, with the latest acquisitions that it had done, expanding its verticals. I think that is a good business to be in ticketing, etc. So I would be in Zomato.
Rather than that's a take coming in as far as Swiggy and Zomato are concerned. China's quite bullish on Zomato as opposed to Swiggy at this point. But Hemen, I'll come right back to you because Vishakha from Bengaluru is asking for your recommendations coming in as far as a blue chip stock is concerned for the short term. Maybe the next 2 months, is there any stock that makes it to your radar then?
Okay, I'll give a couple of stocks, Shanti, but one request to our viewer. It's going to be a volatile time. I'm not sure if 2 months is a very safe period, but yeah, having said that, I think a lot of stocks which have fallen off a cliff, I think we spoke about some of them. I believe there is a bounce coming in Tata Consumer also. There is something like a SBI cards, which has formed a longer term bottom. And for a slightly longer term point of view, you have Divi's Lab. So few of these stocks and maybe even a Bajaj Finance, and a Kotak Bank. Yes, one cannot miss Kotak Bank. So few of these stocks which look good from a near-term point of view, and many of these stocks would also be viable and valid from a longer term point of view. Shreyansi.
All right, so those are some stocks that one can watch out for. On that note, thank you so much, Hemen, as well as Shahina, for joining us on the show, for taking the queries, truncated query segment, no doubt, because it is Women's Wednesday. And when we come back, we will have my colleague Kavita in an exclusive conversation or special conversation with someone from Mirai Asset.
I will take you to Paris.